And good Thursday evening, and welcome into another edition of Gridiron Gab. We are live from Stoner's Pizza right here on Forsyth Road. It's another week of high school and college football. We'll talk about the Stoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week tomorrow night. We'll be joined by the head coach of the Howard Huskies, the 4-1 Howard Huskies, by Barney Hester. He'll peek in with us. We'll get your calls tonight. We'll have the Pick'em contest. We'll talk about last week's winner when we come back. But right now, we'll take a break. You are listening to Gridiron Gab live on DSPNsports.com. We will be right back.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Stoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You'll immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Stoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh every day. Combine all that on the crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Stoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue. It's football time in Middle Georgia, and that means it's time for the Macon Touchdown Club. Join us this year as we kick off our 72nd year at the Methodist Children's Home at 304 Pierce Avenue each and every Monday night. Come join us for a night filled of football fun and fellowship. We kick it off September the 11th. The Macon Touchdown Club, honoring student athletes since 1946. To find out more, log on to MaconTouchdownClub.com. Hey folks, it's Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. You know, there comes a time when we all start to look for a brand new or even a newer automobile, and as a consumer, your choices have always been limited as to where to shop, and secondly, what to do with your current car. Take it to the local dealer and trade it in for wholesale, ride around town with that ugly for sale sign in the back window, or park it in your driveway and hope somebody stops by and they're really there to look at your car. Well, that's where the fine folks at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue in Macon come in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For almost 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the alternative to giving your car away to the local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market the car yourself. The professional staff at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has 35 years of experience in the automobile industry, and they're there solely to help you through the process of selling or buying your next car. If you have a car and you're ready to sell it, let the folks at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em show you how to maximize your vehicle's marketing and financial potential today. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, the car lot for you. Remember folks, don't just park it, sell it. Give them a call today, 478-254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches, we put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority, now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
Tonight's edition of Gridiron Gab live from Stoner's Pizza here on Forsyth Road is brought to you by Stoner's Pizza Joint. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em. Texas Border Grill. Kudzu Seafood, Cherokee Brick and Howe, Bill Harden Music, Pawn Max Incorporated, Apparel Authority, the Making Touchdown Club, and BT Media Productions. Welcome back in. It's Thursday night. We are live from Stoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. And before we get to talk about our game tomorrow night, we want to bring in the head coach of the Howard Huskies, Barney Hester, the 4-1 Howard Huskies. And Coach, good evening, and glad to have you with us tonight. I know it's a week off for you this week. How do you like having a week off now to get some folks healed up?
Well, you know, Russell, this time of the year, you don't really have any weeks off. You have some open dates, but man, if you take a week off, it's not good for your football team. But we're excited about where we're at. We're we would just want to continue to get better. We've got a really big game, region game coming up next Friday against West Lawrence, and we're just striving to be the best we can be, and our guys have really responded well.
Well, Coach, you opened up the season early. I told somebody the other day it feels like we're starting football now the weekend after July 4th. You opened it up on August the 18th. You went over to Westside, a game that was really, really close right there at the half, and you ended up losing that game 24-7. It was a competitive game, but talk a little bit about your season opening, which is, as I said, I think we're playing football way too early, but I don't know your thoughts on that.
Well, I do. I think it. I think all mixed up with the seasons really, but we're playing football in the hottest time of the year, and it's difficult on these guys. But I don't know how you're going to fix it though. I think you got to. I think you got to go with what's there, and we play that first game to try to get a jump on folks, and you play West Side, play a good football team, and you kind of find out where you're at, what you need to do to get better. And so, that's the reason we play so early.
All right, Coach. So, I'm kind of old school about this. We got out of school the first week of June and went back after Labor Day. Usually September 15th or the 10th was when you were playing your first football game. You're rolling in now to your sixth football game of the season. After the West Side game, you were played Mount LaSalle's in the Making Touchdown Club Middle Georgia Kickoff Classic, and since then you have reeled off 4 wins in a row. So talk a little bit about how the progression has gone after that opening game and where you feel like your club is at right now as you've got this bye week getting ready for West Lawrence next week.
Well, first of all, that was a great experience that the Touchdown Club provided for our young men. I mean, in our school, our whole student body. It was a great environment, great night for football. We played Mount LaSalle's, who is a much improved football team. Coach Hatcher's got those guys playing well, and we played well that night. We won, and then we went into our next game and against Central, and Central's a good football team, and had to right at the end of the ball game had to come back and win. We were actually down by 2 touchdowns with about 2 minutes to go and came back and won that ball game, which was a tremendous confidence builder for us. And then we had Rutland, those guys are playing real hard and had a chance. We won pretty good that night. And I guess probably our best effort was last weekend. We went down to Veterans, played a really good 5A Veterans, and we played hard. We got down early, but we came back and really played hard and had a 12-play drive at the end of the game to kind of put it away, which was really big for us. So, our progression has been good. Our goal is to get better each week, and hopefully we'll continue doing that. And if we do, then we'll have a chance to win some of those region games coming up.
All right, Coach, so let's look ahead to next week. You go down to West Lawrence. That football team is 2-2. Obviously a pretty good defense. The most points they've given up all year was last week against South Effingham, but they've been in some close ball games. Their 2 losses are 26-20 and 12-3.
Against 2 good football teams.
Yeah, against Wayne County and Dodge County. They beat the Bade Indians, and then they beat South Effingham last week 34-2. They're playing defense. Other than that one loss, they've given up a total of 6 points in their other 3 ball games. So obviously a pretty good defensive unit you're going to face next Friday night.
Yeah, those guys are very good defensively. Always have been. Since we've been playing them, they don't get after defensively. They had a lot of guys coming back from last year's team, which was a really good defensive team, and man, they just run. They run to the ball so well. I mean, they got speed on that side of the ball, got size on that side of the ball, and you see what's going on with their defense. But I tell you, offensively, they're a good football team too. The quarterback is really coming on strong. They got a couple of receivers that are good football players, and we're just happy to have an opportunity to go down and play those guys and see where we stand.
Well, that's kind of a little bit of a homecoming for you heading back over to West Lawrence, ain't it?
Well, Lawrence County is. I actually went to school at East Lawrence,
right
on the other side of the river. But yeah, Lawrence County is my home county, and got a lot of friends still down there. A lot of people I know. So yeah, it will be a fun evening for us, hopefully.
Well, do you think they have Warner Robins this Friday night, so maybe they'll loosen them up a little bit for you, as they say.
Well, I tell you what now, I've seen Warner Robins play. Those guys
they're pretty good football this year, aren't they?
Yeah, they are awfully good, and but I'm gonna tell you, defensively, I guarantee you that West Lawrence will play with them. They'll get after them. They got speed all over the field, and they'll play with Warner Robins.
Coach, you got an outstanding running back this year in Jeremiah Kelly. Talk a little bit about his accomplishments so far in the season, and of course, it's not possible for him to do some of the things he's doing without the help of what your offensive line's doing up front.
Yeah, Jeremiah's special. Jeremiah's got that speed, that stuff that you can't coach. You either got it or you don't have it, and he's got it. I mean, he can break it. He can break it against anybody on any given down. He's one of those guys that gives your team a boost every time he touches the ball, because you know he's going. I was telling somebody the other day, I remember seeing Herschel Walker play in high school. Now I'm not comparing those two because they're not even close size wise and all that stuff, but you give it to Herschel 30 times and he's probably going to score four or five times, and he's not going to score all of them, but if you give it to him enough, then he's going to make big plays. And Jeremiah's like that. We got to get the ball in his hands a lot, and he's got a chance to break it and get some scores. The guys up front are doing a good job for him. Our offensive line is really maturing and getting better. We got a junior center, Hayden Crosby, who's been a 2-year starter. That's really kind of anchoring our offense, and we think that he's as good as most centers around. Got 2 junior tackles that are doing a good job, Bryson Wise and Aaron Kurtz. And then we got a couple of senior guards that have been. We really added another dimension in our team, being able to pull those guys. Ekevius Chappelle and Ethan Northfleet. Those guys have done a really good job for us, and we're just trying to get better each week. I mean, our guys have bought into what we're doing in practice, and they're giving you everything they got. And if we can continue to do that, I mean, we're still a relatively young football team, so our ceiling, I think, is pretty high. We got a chance to get better.
Well, Barney, it's a good start to the season, 4-1, and you got the bye week this week, and then you go to West Lawrence to begin region play. And just want to wish you the best of luck, and look forward to seeing you again. Get back home to Macon, and we'll get over there and broadcast the game for you.
Great. We look forward to seeing you, Russell.
Okay, Barney, thank you for everything you do, and I appreciate you supporting us.
Thank you.
All right, that's Barney Hester, the head coach of the Howard Huskies. As he said, they're off this week, but next week they head down to West Lawrence to take on them, and they'll be 4-1 heading into that game. West Lawrence this Friday night takes on the Warner Robins Demons, so they have a little bit of a tall task ahead of them for next week. All right, when we come back, we're going to look back at the Southeastern Conference from last week, look ahead to this week, and our Pick'em contest. Don't forget our Pick'em each and every week. You pick the winner and the score. You don't want to go over on the winner's side. Last week's winner, we'll go over him in just a few minutes in the Tennessee-Florida game, and we'll come back and talk to you. You're listening to Gridiron Gab on the DSPN Sports Network. We'll be back after this timeout.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Stoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You'll immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Stoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh every day. Combine all that on the crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites you'll say, "Oh my, what a pizza pie!" Stoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue. It's football time in Middle Georgia, and that means it's time for the Macon Touchdown Club. Join us this year as we kick off our 72nd year at the Methodist Children's Home at 304 Pierce Avenue each and every Monday night. Come join us for a night filled of football fun and fellowship. We kick it off September the 11th. The Macon Touchdown Club, honoring student athletes since 1946. To find out more, log on to MaconTouchdownClub.com. Hey folks, it's Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. You know, there comes a time when we all start to look for a brand new or even a newer automobile, and as a consumer, your choices have always been limited as to where to shop, and secondly, what to do with your current car. Take it to the local dealer and trade it in for wholesale, ride around town with that ugly for sale sign in the back window, or park it in your driveway and hope somebody stops by and they're really there to look at your car. Well, that's where the fine folks at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue in Macon come in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For almost 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the alternative to giving your car away to the local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market the car yourself. The professional staff at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has 35 years of experience in the automobile industry, and they're there solely to help you through the process of selling or buying your next car. If you have a car and you're ready to sell it, let the folks at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em show you how to maximize your vehicle's marketing and financial potential today. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, the car lot for you. Remember folks, don't just park it, sell it. Give them a call today, 478-254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches, we put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority, now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
And welcome back to Gridiron Gab, live here on Thursday night. We're at Stoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. Glad to have you with us. That was Barney Hester that visited with us a few minutes ago from the 4-1 Howard Huskies. Want to remind you tomorrow night, the Stoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week. We will be live from the Ed DePore Sports Complex as the once-beaten Peach County Trojans come to town to take on Coach Rispert and the Westside Seminoles in a battle that will begin. Kickoff is at 7:30. Pregame is at 7:15. That is going to be a great football game tomorrow night. Peach County and Coach Chad Campbell, always a great ball club. They went up to Mary Persons last week, fell behind a little bit in that game, early 14-0, and of course rallied back and won that game. I believe the final was 34-14 or 35-14. And they will take on the Seminoles from Westside, and that is our Stoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week. All right, so last week our pick'em contest was Florida and Tennessee, and the mighty Tennessee Vols went down to the Swamp to take on the Gators, and wow, it was some kind of a game. 26-20, your final score. 9 seconds to go in the ball game, and Florida finds a way on a Hail Mary pass, just as Tennessee did to the Dogs up in Athens last year. They caught it in the end zone and were able to win that game 26-20. We're going to bring in a guy now that always wants to talk a little bit about college football, and he is our longtime caller and listener, and that's Mr. Jim Harden. How are you, sir?
What's going on? Did Coach Esther talk about that 85 FPD Titanal game?
No, he didn't talk about that. That was the only one FPD ever beat him in, wasn't it? And I'm digging at my FPD friends, but he had a string there for a long time that he had the bike's number, didn't he?
He did. That's why I'm so proud that I can say we beat him when I played.
Man, that was back. You just got through winning that game, folded up your helmet in your back pocket, and went on, didn't you?
That's right. It was all leather, baby.
All leather and no face mask, but we didn't have no head injuries either, did we?
That's right.
Wasn't no concussion problems back then. Hey, listen, I'm telling you, take the face mask off, and you'll get away from some of these head injuries. Go back to leather helmets. Hey, you might have a few broken noses and a few split chins, but that'd be all you have. But all right, so go back to last week. Oh, before we go to do that, let me congratulate last week's winner on the Pick'em contest, David Mann, attorney at law here in Macon. David was a winner in the Pick'em contest, so he won the prizes, and now he qualifies for the grand prizes. And here's what we have so far from Bill Harden Music. They're going to give you a choice of a electric or an acoustic guitar. Cherokee Brick and Tile is going to give you a $1,000 Big Green Egg smoker. Pond Max of Macon is going to throw in a brand new 12-gauge pump shotgun and an AR-15, and those are our grand prizes for this year. And we're going to try to add some more along the way. We've also got you some DSBN hats and shirts and all that kind of stuff coming too. All right, looking around last week, Jim, Florida and Tennessee, your thoughts on that one?
Well, too early to tell, I think, what any of that means. I think it's kind of strange that the Vols got beat on the play like they beat Georgia with last year. I can hear those Vol fans complaining about Butch Jones letting that happen.
Oh, because, he's already on the hot seat, so, that didn't help him at all anyway. And then we look around the league, A&M in Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, 45-21. I still don't think Kevin Sumlin's got those problems figured out.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it does. I hadn't really seen him play, but just that seems like the word on the street.
You missed the UCLA game?
I didn't. I just saw a little bit of it, but I know what happened.
I know what happened. So moving around the league, Alabama 41. Look at them. They let your boy Mike Bobo put 23 points up on the board against that NFL defense. How'd that happen?
I know it. I don't get it, man. They're slipping.
All right, Mississippi State and LSU. Mississippi State looked really good last week. I didn't get to watch much of that Saturday night, but I came back Monday night and watched from about the second quarter on that game. And I'll tell you what, Fitzgerald for Mississippi State, he looks like the real deal.
Yeah, he does. I think LSU might want a do-over on that coaching hire.
Oh, Coach Joe, now we just got tired and got a little winded. But no, he had I was surprised that Mississippi State was able to move the ball on LSU's defense as well as they did. But I'll tell you what, looking at that team, Jim, LSU's defense, if you probably looked at the tape slower and a lot closer, did not play that bad. But Mississippi State has got size on both sides of the football. Their quarterback's big, their wideouts are big, their linemen are big. I think they just matched up well with LSU. LSU didn't play bad, and the ball kind of bounced Mississippi State's way. And I said that earlier this week, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the Mississippi State performance. But when you're having a good night, things kind of go your way.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. LSU, they always have athletes. We know that. And Georgia thinks they're pretty good on defense this year, and they think they're pretty physical. It'll be interesting to see how that matchup goes this week.
All right, so Georgia, they got it done against the Baby Bulldogs from Sanford, 42-14. Kentucky goes to South Carolina. So I'm calling this weekend kind of the last week we kind of broke some mirrors and blew away the smoke and mirrors. I think over in South Carolina they lost their big wideout with a broken leg. I think Bentley had their quarterback who's going to be really good, but he was kind of leaning on that kid a little much. When he went out of the game, the air went out of their sails. Kentucky's playing consistent on offense and playing pretty good on defense, and they won it 23-13. And now they face the Florida Gators this weekend, and they haven't beaten them since November of 1986. You were over there hanging out with Pat Dye about the time that happened.
That's exactly right. I don't think I remember that.
Yeah, November of 1986 is the last time Kentucky has beaten Florida.
That's unbelievable. I think Emmitt Smith was on. Well, yeah. Well, he would have been a freshman, I guess, or something. Maybe.
Well, I made a point today. The last time that happened, you were wearing parachute pants and had a mullet.
That's right.
So
not much has changed.
Not much has changed. That's right. So you are your MC Hammer pants. Can Kentucky get it done this weekend? I think Florida I think they got problems still on. I think they got problems at the university right now with the football team.
I do too. It's just, I don't mean to be a boring caller, but it's just too early to tell. It's like who knows about Kentucky? Who knows about Florida? I mean, there's always a game or two where just something happens, and when it's all said and done, it's just inexplicable. And Kentucky's probably got a decent team. And Florida still may beat them. Who knows?
All right, so Vanderbilt goes on the road and upsets Schneider and number 18 Kansas State 14-7. And I still think they got problems scoring, but man, they can play defense.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, I don't think anybody thinks they're going to win this week. They play Bama, right?
They play Alabama in Nashville. There's going to be, the caviar and champagne and the mink coats and the raccoon skin coats will be flowing.
Well, we will see about Vandy this week. we'll get to see what a real defense looks like. But it's just a tough deal up there, man. It's just like Kentucky, for whatever reason, it's just tough. But I think you're right. I think they're good. He's a defensive coach, and I think they're good on the defensive side of football.
So then we come back to Georgia and Mississippi State. Well, let's go back and look. First of all, Auburn beats Mercer 24-10, puts up close to 600 yards of offense. You were at that game last week. They turned the ball over 5 or 6 times. Watching that game and the stats that came after it, I was shocked. I couldn't believe that Auburn, number one, put up that much offense. It looked like they didn't have a 250-yard day on offense to me.
Yeah, it was still ugly. I don't know. I guess if they would have taken away the turnovers, it might have looked like we thought it was going to look. But I tell you what, I think if you got a good team, you come off a tough loss, you got to put it on Mercer, and they didn't do it. And in spite of the turnovers, I think Auburn's got some problems.
What do you think why can't Auburn get it together offensively consistently over there?
I don't know. I mean, I just, it seems like everybody figured out what he's doing. It looked like to me at the game that Mercer knew what was coming. Now, granted, sometimes they couldn't stop it anyway, but if you know what's coming, it's a pretty big equalizer.
Well, I've got some questions watching Auburn this year. Number one is I don't know after the first game why there's not another running back that has touched the ball. Obviously, Cameron Petway was hobbled in the Clemson game. They did not give one other running back another shot at running the football. Kind of same thing last week against Mercer. Had another guy after Kerryon Johnson got hurt that they let rush for 140 yards against Georgia Southern. So I don't understand why he's not even giving the guy 3 plays off and putting he's 2 deep at running back or 3 deep. Why he's not running another football player at running back?
No, I don't get it either. And it seems like they need some speed in that backfield. Maybe carry on. I don't know. I guess he might be back this week. Isn't that right?
Yeah, he's supposed to be back. In Missouri, who knows? I mean, I'm telling you, if Auburn goes up to Missouri and gets beat by them, they got massive problems, and Gus has got bigger problems than he's realizing right now if they go and get beat by Missouri. Everything on paper says they go up there and win big, but, boy, I just don't know right now where they're at psychologically.
Yeah, Jay Jacobs, he's going to be gone. Tommy Tuberville's going to be the new AD, baby.
Tubbs, give him 6, Tubbs. All right, finally, let's talk about Georgia and Mississippi State. Georgia's got one big road win, 1 point over Notre Dame, and they've got a big win against Samford, and they got a win against App State. Can Mississippi State come in there and shock the world in Athens, or is this just going to be one of those good old SEC battles with probably a few more points scored than a lot of folks think?
I think it's going to be a battle. I expect Georgia to win. If Georgia wins, and then they win, they can just win the next couple of games. They're going to be in a situation where they may not be great, but they're going to be a kind of team that has momentum and can start winning and have a chance to do, compete for the SEC title for sure. And of course, I'm always been a big Mississippi State Bulldog, and certainly will be this week.
All right, you want to give me your predictions for this game and what you think is going to happen in it?
27-17 Georgia.
27-17.
I think that's what I said. Hey, can I mention my Presbyterian College Blue Hose?
Yeah, what's going on with the Blue Hose this weekend?
Well, the Blue Hose has got one guy, I think in the history of the program, maybe two in the NFL, that played in the NFL. Justin Bethel for the Cardinals had a pick 6 week 1, and PC got it done against the Campbell Camels last week, and they're playing Cumberland this week. And word is that Tech beat Cumberland 225-0 back in the day, and PC's going to beat them 226-0 just to make a point.
Well, you know what? There's nothing that can stop a Blue Hoe.
A Blue Hoe, except in 1987, they went up to Pittsburgh, Kansas, and the Pittsburgh State Gorillas got them. I cried all the way home.
Is that really their nickname at Pittsburgh State?
Yeah, their coach was in 87, Dennis Francione. PC went up there and got beat by the Gorillas.
Dennis Francione, formerly of the Alabama Crimson Tide. All right. So any big plans for the weekend? Just watching football? You going hunting, or what you going to do?
Probably just watch a little football. I think my boys coming home from Auburn, so we'll be doing.
All right, brother. Always good to talk to you.
You too. Thank you, Russ.
See you, man. Bye. All right, that was Jim with his insight. Your call tonight, 478-550-0524. We're picking Georgia and Mississippi State. That is our pick'em contest for the week. Don't forget, you just got to pick the winner and the score, and you've got a chance to win the prizes. We're going to take a timeout, pay a little bills. We'll come back and talk more college football with you. You're watching Gridiron Gab on DSBNSports.com.
This just in. A large storm in the Gulf has all but decimated the entire Gulf shrimping industry, with the exception of a lone shrimping boat manned by a legless veteran and a young gentleman that hasn't stopped waving at our cameras or telling us his mama's advice. Odd. In completely unrelated news, Kudzu Seafood Company, the authentic Gulf Coast seafood restaurant that brought the coast to Middle Georgia, has also cornered the shrimp market in Central Georgia. Barbecue shrimp and cheese grits, buffalo shrimp, firecracker shrimp tacos, shrimp po' boys, shrimp burgers, shrimp baskets, and Dr. Pepper, all on 3rd Street in downtown Macon. Stay tuned for more breaking news.
Well, after a little bit of delay, we're all set to go Monday night, September the 18th, as we open the new season of the Macon Touchdown Club at the Methodist Children's Home on Pierce Avenue. Join us Monday night as we welcome our special guest speaker, Bobby Lamb, the head coach of the Mercer Bears. That's the Macon Touchdown Club, Monday night starting at 6:30 on September the 18th at the Methodist Children's Home on Pierce Avenue. Visit us online at MaconTouchdownClub.com.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Stoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You'll immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Stoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh every day. Combine all that on the crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites you'll say, "Oh my, what a pizza pie!" Stoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue. It's football time in Middle Georgia, and that means it's time for the Macon Touchdown Club. Join us this year as we kick off our 72nd year at the Methodist Children's Home at 304 Pierce Avenue each and every Monday night. Come join us for a night filled of football fun and fellowship. We kick it off September the 11th. The Macon Touchdown Club, honoring student athletes since 1946. To find out more, log on to MaconTouchdownClub.com. Hey folks, it's Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. You know, there comes a time when we all start to look for a brand new or even a newer automobile, and as a consumer, your choices have always been limited as to where to shop, and secondly, what to do with your current car. Take it to the local dealer and trade it in for wholesale, ride around town with that ugly for sale sign in the back window, or park it in your driveway and hope somebody stops by and they're really there to look at your car. Well, that's where the fine folks at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue in Macon come in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For almost 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the alternative to giving your car away to the local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market the car yourself. The professional staff at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has 35 years of experience in the automobile industry, and they're there solely to help you through the process of selling or buying your next car. If you have a car and you're ready to sell it, let the folks at You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em show you how to maximize your vehicle's marketing and financial potential today. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, the car lot for you. Remember folks, don't just park it, sell it. Give them a call today, 478-254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches, we put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
This just in. A large storm in the Gulf has all but decimated the entire Gulf shrimping industry, with the exception of a lone shrimping boat manned by a legless veteran and a young gentleman that hasn't stopped waving at our cameras or telling us his mama's advice. Odd. In completely unrelated news, Kudzu Seafood Company, the authentic Gulf Coast seafood restaurant that brought the coast to Middle Georgia, has also cornered the shrimp market in Central Georgia. Barbecue shrimp and cheese grits, buffalo shrimp, firecracker shrimp tacos, shrimp po' boys, shrimp burgers, shrimp baskets, and Dr. Pepper, all on 3rd Street in downtown Macon. Stay tuned for more breaking news.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Stoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You'll immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Stoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh every day. Combine all that on the crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites you'll say, "Oh my, what a pizza pie!" Stoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue. It's football time in Middle Georgia, and that means it's time for the Macon Touchdown Club. Join us this year as we kick off our 72nd year at the Methodist Children's Home at 304 Pierce Avenue each and every Monday night. Come join us for a night filled of football fun and fellowship. We kick it off September the 11th. The Macon Touchdown Club, honoring student athletes since 1946. To find out more, log on to MaconTouchdownClub.com.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches. We put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery. And our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
And welcome back to Gridiron Gab. We are live here on a Thursday night from Stoner's Pizza Joint right here on Forsyth Road. Want to thank our guest earlier, Barney Hester, the head coach of the 4-1 Howard Huskies. Had a bye week this week, and he gets ready to go back into action as they start region play next Friday night, as he'll be on the road against West Lawrence. Looking around some of the other games that are coming up this weekend, you've got, Northside is going to Ware County. You've got Spalding at Houston County. Eagles Landing is at Jones County. Eagles Landing comes in 3-1, 2-0 in the region. Jones comes in 4-0. They're 2-0 in the region. Veterans is at Perry. They're coming off that loss to Howard. Howard still has to meet Perry down the road. Warner Robins is at West Lawrence. That ought to be a pretty good football game. So Robbins comes in 4-0. West Lawrence comes in 2-2. Kendrick out of Columbus is at Central. Jackson is at Rutland. Northeast goes to Blakely County. This will be a good game. Blakely County is 3-1. This is in Region 3-2A. Northeast is undefeated. Got a chance to talk to Ashley Harden Monday night at the Macon Touchdown Club. He's excited about how his season's going. Speaking of good season, the Southwest Patriots, they come in 2-1 in the region, 3-0. Actually, I believe Southwest is 2-1 because they had a game canceled last week, as did Central and Northeast non-region games because of the hurricane. In Single A, Stratford is at Lincoln County. Tattnall travels to Washington Wilkes. Tattnall is 3-0. We had them last week on as our DSBN game of the week. Hawkinsville as at Crawford County. At Crawford County. And then our game, our Stoner's Pizza Gridiron game of the week. Don't forget, tomorrow night, 7:15 will be our pregame. Our kickoff will be at 7:30. We'll be live from the Ed DePore Sports Complex, as the Westside Seminoles host the Peach County Trojans in a key battle for Coach Risper and the Seminoles over at Ed DePore. So that is our game. Looking ahead to the SEC football schedule this week, Texas A&M is traveling to take on Arkansas. Key game for Belima, how you pronounce his name, at Arkansas, and Kevin Sumlin at Texas A&M. Both Tennessee will come back and they'll get to lick their wounds as they go back to the friendly confines of Rocky Top in Knoxville. They'll take on UMass. La Tech takes on South Carolina. South Carolina lost their big receiver in the game against Kentucky last week. They'll take on Louisiana Tech. Syracuse travels to LSU. The Bayou Bengals trying to bounce back from that loss to Mississippi State on Saturday night. Auburn travels to Missouri. I think this is an important game for Auburn and Gus Malzahn to try to get that turned around. They go on the road. They get out of the noise at Auburn, and it may help them. They've got to find a way to get something done on the offensive side of the football. Kentucky and Florida. We touched on that game a little bit earlier. Kentucky has not beaten the University of Florida since November of 1986. That's a long, long time to not beat a conference rival. And, I think even though Florida's coming off the big win, they opened up with a bad offensive loss to Michigan. They looked inept on the offensive side of the ball. They have a great defense, obviously, but they have problems on offense. I don't really think they got them straightened out last week against Tennessee at all. They found a way to win that game. It was tied 20 each with 9 seconds to go. And Tennessee's defensive backs went brain dead, and they threw the long post pattern in the end zone, and they were able to beat the Florida Gators were able to beat the Vols 26-20, very similar to what Tennessee did up in Athens last year to the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia on the other side, well, they're facing a pretty good Dan Mullen football team at Mississippi State. The Dogs are undefeated right now. They beat App State pretty handily in the opener. Then they went on to South Bend in an emotional atmosphere and a great atmosphere night of college football. They got in a battle with the Fighting Irish and found a way to win that football game 20-19. Georgia's defense, the key to that victory, as they on that last drive by Notre Dame were able to shut them down and preserve the win for the Dogs. They came back home last weekend and took on Chris Hatcher and the Stanford Bulldogs. Not much of a competition for them, 42-14, 17, something like that. I know I was talking with Brett Barron on the Dog Deck Live show, and we figured that game 41-17, 38-17, and it came out to be about like that. Now they've got a big challenge ahead of them coming in this week with Fitzpatrick from Mississippi State. For those of you who didn't watch the game or watch some of it, Mississippi State looked really good. They looked good on the defensive side of the ball. They were able to put pressure on the LSU quarterback. Their linebackers are big and fast and strong. It's amazing to me the size of the Mississippi State football team, both on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball. They're big. Their receivers are big. They all can catch in traffic. They're fast enough to get open in space, and they're big enough. They're not afraid to go over the middle. Fitzpatrick runs that read pass option offense. He looks very similar, not as fast, but he's a big kid like Cam Newton, and you're not going to arm tackle him. I mean, he's got great speed in the open field. He's not going to run away from anybody, but as big as he is, if you give him space and he's going to read the end, he's going to read that outside linebacker. And in the LSU game, he didn't make any mistakes reading that offense. He's a young guy, obviously, a sophomore, I believe. He has some mechanic problems a little bit from what I looked at him throwing the football, but he's so big and he's so strong that he can overcome some of the short arm technique that he does. But he does a very good job of doing his checkoffs and doing his reads when he comes to the line of scrimmage. And, can he duplicate what he did against LSU last Saturday night? I don't know. I think he's going to face probably as close to a good a defense up in Athens on Saturday as he faced with LSU. LSU, like I said, I thought their defense just kind of got overwhelmed and kind of got hung out to dry by their offense again. LSU still got the same problem. They have problem at quarterback, and they have problems establishing the run. Now, Guy supposedly is hurt this week for LSU. He wasn't hurt last week, and they corralled him pretty good. But I don't care who you are. If you turn your offense into a one-dimensional team, you don't have to have a great defense on the other side of the ball. If you're incapable of giving the linebackers to respect what you're doing in the backfield with your quarterback and your running backs, they're just going to tee off on you, and that's a little bit about what Mississippi State did last weekend, and that historically the last 4 or 5 years is the teams that have the athletes to compete with LSU. That's what they've done with them. They're not a threat to throw the ball deep on you. I thought LSU had some opportunities. They had some drop balls by receivers that made their quarterback's performance look worse than it actually was. But when you hang your defense out for 3 and outs or 5 and outs, it's not going to end well. And let's go back to the phones, and who we got on the line?
BB Dog.
BB Dog. So what's happening? Got a big victory up in Athens last week over the Sanford Bulldogs, and now you got the cowbells coming, baby.
Yep. Very, very, very nervous about that ball game.
All right, so look back on last week when we talked on the Dog Deck Live show on Saturday. You and I both tagged that game around 38-17, 41-17, about how it came out, just about what we anticipated. And Georgia got out of it without really getting anybody hurt, which was probably the most important thing coming into this week's game. But I don't think anybody looked at Mississippi State with as close an eye as they're looking at them now after that victory over LSU last weekend.
No, and I think you will agree with me that one game doesn't make a season. Yes, I know. I looked last night actually at the teams they played, and they're scoring a ton of points. But you know what? They weren't even ranked before last weekend, so I'm not going to get quite in the panic mode. Yes, I'm worried, but I'm not in a panic mode over Mississippi State right now.
Did you get a chance to watch any of their game last Saturday night?
On and off because we were playing, yes.
Well, I was really shocked at how well. I think everybody had a pretty good idea that Fitzpatrick was going to be a pretty good quarterback. I thought he ran that read pass option offense for them last week about as good as you can run it.
Fitzgerald, not Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald, and he was playing a pretty good defense in LSU.
Oh, absolutely no. Hey, the kids from Richmond Hill High School or Savannah, and we didn't even recruit him. I mean, you think he's going to be ready to roll in Athens? We didn't recruit the guy hardly at all, if any. And
he's a big kid too. He's 6'5", 235, 240 probably. Yep. He's a really big kid. I was pretty impressed with them and their size along the defensive front and their linebackers. I think you got two really good defenses going to smack heads on Saturday night in Athens. If you look at the two of them right now, I've got to give the nod to Mississippi State on the offensive side of the ball. The question is, to me, is which defense can stop the other one's offense?
Totally agree. I mean, I think we're right now we're one of the best defenses in the country. I don't have all the stats, but I think our starting defense is maybe allowing, I think it's 6 to 7 points a game. Yeah, we've not played world beaters, but you know what? I'm gonna tell you what. Notre Dame's gonna help us. Notre Dame's a heck of a football team. They're gonna surprise people. But anyway, I agree. It's prom. They gotta let the kid loose a little bit. Chubb looked great. Michelle's supposed to be back. Number 7, DeAndre Swift, is exciting me to death because it's a true freshman.
Right.
And then the whole defense. I mean, the whole defense. I think we're as good as the defense in the country as there is. I really do. Other than that, you know. The only thing, I've said it for going on the 4th week now, our O-line scares me to death. So we're fixing to get into the trenches of SEC football, and if they can't scheme or do any kind of blocking, they'll kill us, man. They'll kill us.
Let's stay on the defensive side of the ball. Anything you see that I know they're playing well, and I know you're looking at them with a little bit of a tainted eye because of the competition so far. Anything on the defense that scares you a little bit, would it be your secondary?
Possibly, yes, but they're run first, man. He's a whatever, like the Wimbush guy at Notre Dame. They want to run the ball. Of course, he's going to probably, like you said, as big as he is, he's going to do some fakes and then try to throw it over the top, I'm guessing. Secondary, I guess, but the defense really as a whole, Russell, doesn't scare me.
Right.
I mean, it really does. I mean, we're so aggressive with that front seven, and I think number 3 is the best linebacker. And if he stays next year, it could be the best linebacker to ever play at Georgia.
Well, that'd be a tall task.
I understood, but that Rokon Smith is one unbelievable football player, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him live. I mean, he's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, now they've obviously improved the speed and quickness and size of that defense, and of course that's what you expect Kirby Smart to do. That's what he's done. Over at Alabama, you expect him to bring that philosophy to Georgia, and he's certainly gotten the recruits to do it. So if you look on the other side of the ball now, not a lot of gaudy numbers by Sony Michel or Nick Chubb so far this year. A little bit that's got to do with how the season started with Eason going out and then throwing a true freshman in there, and you're not with Fromm, and you're not you probably not opened up the playbook enough yet. Saturday night, are they going to have to maybe stick to one guy more than they do the other?
Yeah, probably Chubb. He really had some great runs against. I know it was Samford.
Right.
But he looked like his old self. He really did. I think Fromm is a great quarterback. I mean, I know he's a true freshman. He's made many mistakes. But if I'm Kirby, I'm going to go to Chaney and say, you know what? This is our first really big game. I mean, to me, it's the game of the week. I don't know who else is playing. I really haven't paid a lot of attention to it. But this is the first, of course, for our side, albeit Florida, Tennessee, this is a big ball game. I mean, this is going to tell you a lot about, of course, Georgia and Mississippi State. Because, I mean, hey, Paul Feinbaum and all them dudes, they've already ordained Mississippi State as the second best team in the SEC. I mean, after one game. I mean, it blows my mind. They're the second best team in the SEC.
Yeah, I listen, we're way too early in the season to think about anybody. Hey, listen, I don't think Alabama's looked that great this year. Their defense gave up 23 points to Colorado State. I think they've got some problems on the offensive side of the ball too. We'll move on and talk about some of those other games with you here in a second. Looking at the Georgia game, do you feel this is going to be a defensive battle, low scoring, or do you think this is going to be a Donnybrook where we get teams scoring 38 and 35 points each to win it?
Well, that's a great question because it is your pick'em contest, and I keep going back and forth with that exact thought. I mean, what is going to happen? I mean, you get it with 9-6, 45 to 41.
Right.
I really don't have any. I don't know, man. My gut tells me in the 20s, 28, 24, whatever it may be. Who knows?
I think the thing that makes this a difficult game, everybody's excited after the Georgia win at Notre Dame if you're Georgia fans and you like what you see from the maturity a little bit of your defense and how Fromm is kind of settled in now. But there's not enough body of work for either one of these football teams, and that's why I say this Saturday is the first separation Saturday of the new season.
I totally agree. What you got? Oh, yeah, last weekend it was Struggle Saturday.
Struggle Saturday, that's right, and everybody did. Boy, they did across the board. There was a lot of big teams. Michigan, Nebraska went down to Northern Illinois. You see Nebraska fired their AD today.
Oh, yeah.
Who else? Well, of course, Florida and Tennessee. I mean, they went 3.5 quarters. Nobody wanted to put the ball in the end zone. They kicked field goals. Florida found a way with the Hail Mary to get it done. They got a big game against Kentucky this week. Kentucky goes over and beats South Carolina. I thought they were my dark horse in the eastern side this year. Now I think, their big wideout's gone, so that's not really going to matter. All right, before we talk about these other games real quick, Brett, give me a score on this Georgia-Mississippi State game. It's time to make your pick, brother.
Oh, my God. Thought about it coming home. Let's go with, how are we going to score 28 points? But we will find a way. 28, it's probably already picked. 28-24, the real dogs, spelled with an A. They belong in Athens. The Mississippi State dogs don't spell with an A.
All right. Well, give me the score again while you're talking about
28-24.
28 dogs and
28 puppies, Mississippi State puppies.
28-24, right?
Yes, dogs, Georgia dogs.
All right, 28-24. So the albino dog beats the brown and white dog. Okay. All right. So Georgia gets out of this one alive. Let's say your score holds. Then you got Florida and Kentucky. Florida comes off that big Hail Mary win. Kentucky hadn't beat them since November of 1986.
Yeah, I saw your post about the parachute pants and the mullet. Oh, my God.
That's true. That's what was going on in 86. I mean, y'all were all sitting around listening to Duran and what was that? Boyd George and all that mess back then. I was still listening to Zeppelin and the Stones. But
So was I.
I'm sure you were, brother. I mean, I'm being facetious, but man, I'll never forget. Well, that's a long story. That was a month before my daughter was born. My oldest daughter was born. I mean, she'll be 31 in December. So 30 years.
It's unreal. I mean, and like you say, is it going to ever end? But if that was the pick'em contest, I'm going with the dadgum Commonwealth. They're going to. As Larry used to say, they're going to destroy some property that night.
Yeah, I think you're right. Is that game at night? I believe that game is at night. Let me check.
7:30, man. They're always at night. We always play at night where everybody else is playing. I'm supposed to thank God next weekend, and you're invited, by the way. We're having a huge Tennessee party, and finally we're playing a freaking day game.
Is it going to be the 3:30 game on CBS?
Yes, it's already announced. Thank God.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the night atmosphere up in Athens now. Just makes for
I don't go up there, but I mean, I'm talking about it night games like this weekend and every other weekend. That's when everybody plays,
Right, and then you've got 3 good games going at the same time, and you're going crazy trying to watch the game, your team, but you want to try to keep up with what's going on with everybody else too. Okay, so I agree with you. I think Kentucky's going to find a way. Florida's coming off that big emotional high. They've also got some problems down there. They got some players about to be charged with felonies. They still got Scarlett and Callaway out, their big wide out. He may never, ever put on a Florida uniform again, as he is one they think is going to get a felony tag put on him. All right, Alabama and Vanderbilt. People are hyping this Vanderbilt defense, and I think Derek Mason is a great defensive coach, and he's proven that his team can play defense with anybody for the most part, in the conference over the last couple of years. The problem is he can't put up any offense. Is Alabama just going to go up there and embarrass them, or is that game going to be a little closer than a lot of people think?
My personal opinion is it's going to be pretty dang close for a half. I'm not sure. There's no way I'm going to play Vanderbilt's going to win the game, but I'm thinking it's going to be – I don't think it's going to be – I don't even know what the line is. Do you?
No, but it would not surprise me that game turn out to be and this just kills me about this. I don't think that Vanderbilt can score. I think they can maybe keep Alabama from scoring, but once again, will they leave their defense out on the field too long? Hey, the game's close going into the late in the third, 17-21 to 14, Bama, and then they just kind of wilt under the pressure.
Right. Yeah, I think Bama would win. If I had to guess, I would say Bama wins by probably 2 touchdowns.
All right, bro.
It wouldn't surprise me if they only win by 1 touchdown.
Yeah, I think Alabama's struggling a little bit on offense, trying to find their identity this year. Lane Kiffin's gone. Sarkisian's gone. They got the tight ends coach from the Patriots there. I don't think they're going to be as prolific on offense. I mean, they're great defensively. They got some people hurt in that opening game. And I know everybody say, they just plug in another 5-star. Well, hey, listen. Auburn had a guy that was a 5-star this week that never broke the starting lineup. He was considered one of the top 2 defensive linemen in the country. So the advantage Alabama's got is they got 5 or 6 of them. You got 2 of them, and that's the difference. But I think it'll tell as their competition level gets a little stronger against them this year. All right, so you picked it 28-24. We thought you and I both agree Kentucky's going to win. Arkansas and A&M, that's a loser bowl. Whoever loses that one, their coach just descends further into the hot seat.
That's the hot seat bowl, no doubt. Hot seat bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's another one. If Auburn goes on the road and lays an egg against a very porous Missouri defense, I don't know what's going on in Auburn. I can't figure it out. Maybe we'll know more after this weekend if they go out and perform against Missouri. They got to give some kind of offensive performance up there. Any further thoughts about the weekend, brother?
Who else is playing out of conference? I'm trying to think of the big games if there are any. You know?
I don't. I think.
USC California could be entertaining. Of course, you know, it's night on the coast there.
Yeah, and I told you, and you and I kind of agreed on this, but Texas went out there and played them last weekend. Had a shot to beat them. Tom Herman. Tom Herman has shown that they say your improvement comes from week 1 to week 2 or 3, and he definitely turned that defensive unit around, and they were in that game all night, lost it 27-24 in overtime.
No, absolutely. It's unbelievable. I mean, I know that's I'm trying to think really who else top teams are playing. Clemson, of course, is going to absolutely annihilate Boston College.
Right.
Alabama at Vandy. Who's 3? I don't even know who number 3 is, actually. I tell you what, Florida State and NC State, that could be interesting.
It could.
Florida State's only played. They
Yeah.
played one game, man. They played one game.
No, they played 2, haven't they?
I thought they've only played one.
Well, they played Alabama in the opener, and then they played. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe they had a bye week, and then last week's game got canceled.
Hurricane.
It was a hurricane. You're right. They've only played Alabama, but they still lost their quarterback. So, I mean, you know, who's going to step in and play quarterback for them now?
That's like Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech hadn't played in like 21 days or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Had the Vols on opening weekend and that Monday night, and they haven't played since. They had a bye week, and then the hurricane got them as well, too. All right, brother, it's going to be an exciting weekend. I appreciate your support. Best wishes and thoughts and prayers about your dad.
Yeah, absolutely, buddy. I appreciate that. And holler at me Saturday.
I'll do it.
See you, buddy.
See you. All right, that's BB Dog. Don't forget to join him on Facebook on Saturday afternoon for Dog Deck Live as he gets in there and talks all that delusional stuff about the University of Georgia Bulldogs. So, but Brad loves them, and they're his team, and he's behind them 100%. All right, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and wrap it up. You're listening to Gridiron Gab here on DSPN Sports Network. We are live at Stoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. We'll be back up to this timeout.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Stoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You'll immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily. Use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Stoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh every day. Combine all that on the crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Stoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue. It's football time in Middle Georgia, and that means it's time for the Macon Touchdown Club. Join us this year as we kick off our 72nd year at the Methodist Children's Home at 304 Pierce Avenue each and every Monday night. Come join us for a night filled of football fun and fellowship. We kick it off September the 11th. The Macon Touchdown Club, honoring student athletes since 1946. To find out more, log on to MaconTouchdownClub.com. Hey folks, it's Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. You know, there comes a time when we all start to look for a brand new or even a newer automobile, and as a consumer, your choices have always been limited as to where to shop, and secondly, what to do with your current car. Take it to the local dealer and trade it in for wholesale, ride around town with that ugly for sale sign in the back window, or park it in your driveway and hope somebody stops by and they're really there to look at your car. Well, that's where the fine folks at You Park 'em, You Sell 'em at 3306 Vineville Avenue in Macon come in. You Park 'em, You Sell 'em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For almost 18 years, You Park 'em, You Sell 'em has been the alternative to giving your car away to the local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market the car yourself. The professional staff at You Park 'em, You Sell 'em has 35 years of experience in the automobile industry, and they're there solely to help you through the process of selling or buying your next car. If you have a car and you're ready to sell it, let the folks at You Park 'em, You Sell 'em show you how to maximize your vehicle's marketing and financial potential today. You Park 'em, You Sell 'em, the car lot for you. Remember folks, don't just park it, sell it. Give them a call today, 478-254-6310. That's You Park 'em, You Sell 'em.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches, we put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
And welcome back to Gridiron Gab on a Thursday evening as we wrap up the show live from Stoner's Pizza here on Forsyth Road. Want to thank our guests tonight and our callers as well. Barney Hester, the head coach of the Howard Huskies. He's 4-1. He's got a bye week this week. Next week he heads down and takes on West Lawrence in a big region game for him next week. Don't forget, tomorrow night, our Stoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week will be live from the Ed DeFore Sports Complex, as the once-beaten Peach County Trojans come into town in a key region game to take on Coach Spoon's Westside Seminoles, and we'll be live from the stadium tomorrow night. Don't forget, you can watch the game on our website, dsbnsports.com. You can watch it live on our Facebook page. We ask you to follow us there. It's Facebook DSBN Sports. And then go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to that and become a member. Each week we'll broadcast here from Stoner's Pizza, and you can watch it on your laptop, on your phone. You can even watch it on the big screen at the house. We've got the show tonight playing right here on the big screen inside the restaurant. Don't forget, every Friday night you can see our games live at Stoner's Pizza in Macon, Stoner's Pizza in Warner Robins, Kudzu Seafood downtown, Lee Clack. He shows it on the big 100-inch screen down there. And Mark Coley at over our good friend over at Texas Border Grill out on Houston Road. You can watch our games there. Like I said, thank Barney Hester for coming in with us. Our pick'em contest this week is Georgia and Mississippi State. You can text it to me at 478-550-0524. Email gridirongab@yahoo.com, or contact information on the website, or hit us up on Facebook with your score. We'll give away about $80 in gift prizes this week, and it'll qualify you for the big drawing. We want to thank Apparel Authority. They're providing our hats and T-shirts. Whatever your needs are, Apparel Authority is the place to go. They're even the official supplier of the Mercer Bears. And so they're also now the official supplier of all our hats and T-shirts here on Gridiron Gab. We also want to thank Pawn Max. They're giving away two of our grand prizes this year with a shotgun and an AR-15. Cherokee Brick and Tile giving away a $1,000 big green egg smoker. And Bill Harden Music is going to give you a choice of an electric or an acoustic guitar. Well, we want to remind you, Monday night, the Macon Touchdown Club. Now, we've had a little change in that schedule. It's Monday at 6:30 at the Methodist Children's Home, the same time we always have it. But our guest speaker this week, George O'Leary, had a medical issue come up that he had been planned for a while, but the hurricane pushed that back a week. So our guest speaker is going to be Jerry Glanville, the former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. He's going to leave 2 tickets for Elvis at the Macon Touchdown Club for Monday night. So we'll kick it off at 6:30. Dinner in the program. Guest fees not but $30. To find out more, go to MaconTouchdownClub.com. We'll see you tomorrow night live from the Ed DeFore Sports Complex. Pregame is 7:15. Kickoff is 7:30. It's the Peach County Trojans and the Westside Seminoles. We'll see you next Thursday night from Stoner's Pizza. Good night, everybody. Our time is up. We thank you for yours.